Good afternoon, everyone. This is Reading for Charity again. This time it is Bleak Seasons by Glenn Cook. Getting over my confusion at the end of the last review about which one was next. It is Bleak Seasons. I forgot that the Book of the South is only 2 books. Bleak Seasons. Bleak Seasons is so much better. So much better than Dreamers of Steel. It's so much better. This book is fantastic. It's really, really enjoyable. It's back to the best of the Black Company. This book in particular is written so differently to any of the other books. So it's kind of hard reviewing these books now because I end up repeating a lot of what I say about the previous books. So the Bleak Seasons, go and read my reviews of the Books of the North for the Black Company, and this is essentially everything that I've said for those. So the characters are fantastic, the world building is great, the dialogue is superb, I love the ensemble cast. Everyone has moved on to the point now where they have all their backstories established. Everyone's bouncing off each other now. There is almost too many characters in this book. Almost too many characters in this book for what is actually a relatively short book. And I know I say I like this about the Glenn Cook ones. I mean, this is only 300 and something pages long, 316 pages long, and 2/3 of the book is so Morgan, who is the standard bearer, for the Black Company, and 2/3 of the book, he's a complete and total unreliable narrator. He bounces backwards and forwards through time. And you find out why later on, describing things that have been happening, and he's completely confused. He's a complete and total unreliable narrator. It's morose, it's dark, it's he's haunted all the way through it. The book is really, it's so much better than the last 2. So much better. I was getting a little bit worried about the series after the Book of the South because it didn't feel good. This feels so much better. And it's close, and I understand after reading this book why Erikson has been described as Glenn Cook's natural successor, because this is the template that Erikson took for the for his great works. What's the name of this series from the Stephen Erikson's ones? I can't remember. My brain is broken today. I'm trying to do too many reviews at once. So yeah, this is a fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic. The Morgan is the unreliable narrator for the first 2/3 of the book. Yeah, roughly the first 200 pages worth, certainly, is great. And Croker being the great dictator or the liberator, depending on who you talk to, of Taglios, that really works. The lady remains super annoying, and I suspect she's going to end up being the big bad again at some point because her magic is definitely returning, and once she gets her magical powers back, then what's to stop her from taking over the world again like she tried to do before. One Eye remains absolutely fantastic. He's so much fun. One Eye. Goblin and his fights with One Eye are awesome. Also awesome. Who else we got from the? We've got a couple of the old Black Company descendants that they picked up in the Books of the North. They're in there, which are kind of good. I can't remember their names. Mogaba, something like that. They're all. There's almost too many characters. I mean, the company itself has expanded back up to where it was before in the earlier parts of the Books of the North, and that's great, fantastic. And the additional cast of the Taglios lot are they're mildly annoying. Like the Swan, he's mildly irritating. The Dratu are suitably fiendish and what's the right word I'm looking for? Plotting, that's quite good. The bad guys, the Shadow Masters, who are just like ha 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 ha, we are just. They're one step away from being Nazgul, essentially the Shadow Masters. They're fantastic. The whole everything I've said before about Glenn Cook works for this. Plotting, characterization, dialogue, world building, it's all fantastic. And he's picked the plot back up. He's actually got it back into a good place. It's not just about the lady and Croker anymore. It's back to being about the Black Company, and it's excellent. It's absolutely superb. There's not much else I can say about this. I don't want to give away too much because the last third of the book, again, is big spoilers for what's going on, and this time it's hard to talk about it even with the signal. So I'm not going to. I'm not going to talk about the twist. I'm not going to talk about the series that sets up for the end, because this very much feels like it's setting up the second half of the series, if you like. I don't know. I can't remember how many books there are. I've got a list up here somewhere. Yeah. So there's another 3 books after Bleak Seasons, and this one feels like it's setting it up. Very, very much setting it up. So, should you read this book? Yes, definitely. I think it's probably the best one in the series that I've read so far. It's way better than the 2 books of the South. It's better than at least 2 of the books of the North. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. You do need to have read the majority of the series up to this point to understand what this book is doing, but that's no hardship because the series is great. So you should definitely read this book and the other ones. Read the other ones first because you need to have read them to understand this one, but then read this one. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Genuinely loved it. Please read this book and the others. And then go off and read Erickson as well, because, why not? So next up will be She is the Darkness is the next one. I don't know where my physical copy of that is. It's not in my pile, so it's disappeared somewhere. So I won't have a book to wave around, but I will talk about it anyway. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Reading for Charity. Good afternoon.